Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to begin our program now this afternoon. I know some of you may still be eating lunch. Please continue to do so. We have collected all the questions, both that we received over the internet, as well as from all of you here today, as well as a few from the students who are now in the back of the room. By the way, I want to introduce, I'm not going to do it by name, but all the students from the gallery classes in Hamilton Township have joined us, so they're having an opportunity to be with us this afternoon. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have just a couple of moments of brief introduction from candidates, then we're going to allow them to come up and make opening statements, and then I will ask the questions that I received that are most appropriate for both candidates to answer. Okay, so there won't be any rebuttals, but each candidate will have an opportunity to answer the same question. Okay, and then if you still have more time, then I'll go to the other questions as well. All right, so first, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you Mayor Kelly Yeade, who is the Republican candidate for the Hamilton Township Mayor. She was born and raised and educated in Hamilton Township. She was elected to the school board before serving 6 years as a councilwoman. She was elected as the first female mayor of Hamilton Township and subsequently named as one of the most effective mayors in New Jersey. Mayor Yeade has served as Director of Corporate Affairs for the American Cancer Society and Vice President of Community Affairs for Roma Bank. Next to my right is the Democratic candidate for mayor, Amy Inman. Amy is the wife and mother of 2 children who are enrolled here in Hamilton Public Schools. Her roots are in Trenton, but she moved to Hamilton with her family at the age of 16. She graduated from McCorston High School, and she earned a Bachelor of Arts from St. John's University in New York. She is a small business owner, very proud of that, and she is a member of the Mid-Jersey Chamber of Commerce. Thank you. She's a small business owner, and her business is here in Hamilton, and it is Cabinets by Amy and Lauren, Kitchen and Home Remodeling Design Company. I am sorry. I apologize. Amy corrects me. The business is in Bordentown, not in Hamilton. I apologize. Okay, so without any further ado, I'm first going to turn it over to Mayor Yeade to make her opening comments.
Good afternoon. Thank you everyone for being here. I'd like to thank the Mid-Jersey Chamber of Commerce for having us here today, and thank Ms. Inman for putting her name before the voters of Hamilton Township. Carly Fiorina said in a Republican debate that if America does not lead, the world is a dangerous place. If you put that in a local context, if Hamilton doesn't lead, Mercer County and the local region is a dangerous place. Hamilton Township has been a leader in providing shared services. Shared services not only within town, but also we provide the medical services, the health services to local towns, East Windsor. We have shared services with several other towns. But also what Hamilton does, we have shared services with many organizations in Hamilton. For example, we provide the school district with not only 5-bar gas, also with paving their parking lots, also the fire departments. They come to Hamilton Township, they buy their gas from us. What does that do? That saves money. It saves money for the Hamilton Township residents. Okay? If Hamilton doesn't lead, there's a negative impact on the entire community. What we have done in my administration, we have provided leadership such as revitalization projects. You'll see expansion, you'll see revitalization in some of our corridors that haven't received the redevelopment in over 10 years. We have realized the second lowest tax bill in Mercer County. We have realized since 1977, We have the lowest crime rate. And this year, I'm proud to announce, this year's crime rate is even lower. Also, thank you. In Hamilton, we've also provided leadership in attracting businesses. We've opened this year alone 35 new businesses. Last year, we saw the opening of 2 new hotels. Right, 2 new hotels. We have warehouses. We have another Walmart coming in, a super Walmart coming in. Walmart is #1 on the Fortune 500 company list. They're coming in. They believe in us. It's leadership that we have provided, and leadership not just in the good times, but in the bad times. Leadership to take on its own party. I introduced a bill and worked with Assemblyman Wayne D'Angelo that would bypass Governor Christie to return to the Hamilton property taxpayers $5 million, at least $5 million, it's much higher than that, that the state was withholding from Hamilton Township residents. And leadership, ladies and gentlemen, that has not only been tried, but tested and retested. When we dealt with the 3 health crises, I travel around the country, and when I talk to mayors from all different sizes of towns, I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that they could not, and they did not have the resources to help guide our residents through the 3 major healthcare crises that we had. And we did it, and we did it not just to benefit our residents, our school children with enterovirus, or whether hepatitis A. We did that to make sure that Hamilton, the largest town, covering 40 square miles, 90,000 residents, remain a leader. Why? Because we have to. Because if we don't lead, not only will our residents suffer, but so will the surrounding areas and Mercer County and the entire region. And I believe my administration has shown that leadership. That is why I am asking the residents of Hamilton Township, although I've only been mayor for a short time, we've done a lot in those 3 years. The leadership that has proven that Hamilton is safe, that we are progressive, we are prosperous. Just think what we've done together in 3 years, what we can do if my team of council, Ileana Shermer, with Ralph Mastrangelo joining us, what our team can do over the next 4 years. Thank you.
Amy?
I'm 5'2", so I'm glad I wore heels today. I want to thank Mr. Pernetti and the Chamber for inviting us here for this event. And I also want to thank Mr. Pernetti for extending the invitation to the gallery students at my request. They were very disappointed that they would not be able to see a debate this year, so I'm happy that they can be here to at least witness this. I grew up in a 2-bedroom, 1-bath home in Trenton. Patience, timing, and scheduling was a required skill. We watched the city decline and our family, friends, and neighbors move out around us. My parents' aspiration was to move to Hamilton, where we would be safe. But unfortunately, while they were trying to save enough money to do that, we were burglarized. We were home sleeping when people came, broke in, walked around us, took jewelry, money, and the keys to our car, walked out the front door, and drove off in our minivan. Luckily, they caused us no bodily harm, but they violated our sense of security, something that I know can never be restored. We finally moved to Hamilton that summer when I was 15. I was no stranger to Hamilton since I attended St. Anthony's and McCarson High School. College took me to St. John's University in New York, a semester at the American University of Rome, and then the Art Institute of Philadelphia. But I always came home to Hamilton. I married a New York boy and brought him to Hamilton. We have 2 children who attend Hamilton Public Schools, and we have a rescue husky named Ramona, who you can regularly pet at the dog park. I started my career in Hamilton at Century Kitchens. In 2009, at the height of the worst economic crisis we have seen in this country since the Great Depression, I chose to open my company. It started small from my dining room table, and my biggest client was Hamilton Kitchens. By 2011, I had outgrown my dining room table, and I chose to open my first storefront. In 2013, my business grew again, and I chose to partner with my best friend and business colleague, Lauren Baldwin. Together, we formed Cabinets by Amy and Lauren. This year, we moved to a larger location, signed a 5-year lease, hired an interior designer, a graduate of Steinert High School and Kane College. We generate tens of thousands of dollars in sales for local stores like the Tile Shop, BB, and Hamilton Building Supply. I'm very proud of our success, and I'm very proud that we did all of this in 6 short years, through a recession, without a bank loan or a line of credit, without any credit from our cabinet manufacturers, and in spite of how cheap money is right now, we still choose to operate a completely debt-free company. We choose fiscal responsibility. We choose to build local, hire local, and shop local. My choices and my leadership skills will bring Hamilton back on track.
Thank you, Amy. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to leave about 1.5 minutes for each question. Each of you will have an opportunity to answer the question, and I will alternate who goes first from question to question. Heather, who is sitting right in the front, is going to let you know when there's about 30 seconds left, so just watch for her, and then I'll let you finish your statement, and we'll move to the next question, okay? Okay, so first I'm going to have Mayor Yeade answer this first, and then Amy. Please discuss how your experience and education before seeking elected office prepares you for the position that you are running for now. Mayor?
Great question. I spent 3 years on the Hamilton Township Board of Education. I rose to the level of vice president. During that tenure, I lobbied and formed a grassroots effort, and I have Senator Verso in the room here. They proposed a bill that would reward Hamilton as being a thorough and efficient education system. So I developed a grassroots effort, lobbied. Over $2 million came into the Hamilton Township School District, which resulted in a 0% tax increase that year. From there, I also served as coach. Also, I was a volunteer ladies auxiliary member with the Hamilton Township Fire Company. Also, I served 6 years on council. And when we took over council, and I have Dave Kenny, Dennis Pone here with me today, that led the charge, we had a $16 million deficit. Ladies and gentlemen, that experience in serving on council, knowing how to allocate the dollars, listening to the residents, not having exec session in private, holding that in the public, and then being appointed as mayor. What I have done in those, serving in those capacities, has not only led me to being a mayor, the mayor of Hamilton Township, listed as one of the effective mayors in Hamilton Township, but having a crime rate that is lower than 1977 and holding taxes flat this year. The experience of multi-level of government in executive and in legislative branches has led me to experience to help lead Hamilton Township forward, and I will continue to do that.
Thank you, Mayor. Amy? Sure. Please discuss how your experience and education before running for this office prepares you for this candidacy and for the office of Mayor of Hamilton.
Oddly enough, I have never had any political experience, but my career in interior design and specializing in kitchen and bath design has really prepared me to be the mayor of Hamilton. I have been inside of more Hamilton homes than probably anyone in this room has. I have measured, I know every square inch down to the 1/8 of what sizes your bathrooms and your kitchens are. And I've sat down with people and talked to them about what their real concerns are in Hamilton. My job as a designer, I'm given a specific space, like Hamilton is given a specific space. I have to figure out what is the safest, most efficient way to make that space better on a strict budget. And I do that every single day. And that's what prepares me to be a leader in this community. And we hear a lot about career politicians. I'm not a career politician. I'm a community servant. Oh, I can keep going? Oh, okay. I actually got into politics because I was looking to volunteer for Habitat for Humanity. And my friend Rick said, you should come to the Democratic Club meeting. You'll find a lot of different opportunities for volunteering. And I have. I volunteered in the Bromley section after the fires. I volunteer for homeless people in Mercer County, in Trenton. And that is my life's purpose, is for community service. And I believe that I can bring that mission to Hamilton.
Thank you. Next question, and this time I will start with Amy Inman. What is your sense of the right mix between commercial development and residential development in Hamilton Township?
Well, we have a lot of residences in Hamilton Township. We have 90,000 people who live here. And it's time to start bringing in an anchor, like at the Transit Village, large commercial spaces where we can bring in people who want to commute to this community and use our resources. We have probably the best infrastructure of anywhere else in Mercer County. We have 295, 195, we have turnpike access. There's no reason why companies would not want to relocate here in Hamilton. I think our focus needs to be more on bringing commerce to Hamilton, filling our vacant shopping centers. And once we do that, our 800 vacant properties will probably very easily be filled, because this will be a desirable place that people want to live. And we don't have to build new homes. We have the homes here. They just need to be revitalized.
Mayor?
I'd like to thank Ms. Inman for recognizing that Hamilton Township does have the best infrastructure in the county. And when you come and as mayor, when you look at the mix, the appropriate mix, we have in Hamilton Township, we have small businesses, backbone of our community. We have medium-sized companies. We have headquarters companies from Genesis Biotech, world-renowned. We have Salvona, who located their headquarters here. So we have, you can get anything you want. I say turn right in Hamilton, you can get anything that you want. As far as the train station, the Democrats gave a sweetheart deal for a developer to build 637 homes. What that does around our train station, we've met with 11 different developers over that area alone. As soon as you hear there are 637 homes on that side of the train station, their eyes glaze over, the meeting's over. Why? Because that's not a transit village. That is a development, a housing development, and it is curtailed the development in around that area. So as a former school board member, what I look at, what is the impact on the local school districts? What's the impact on our children? And we have a healthy balance here in Hamilton Township. We have to make sure that we continue that, and we continue to provide for open space. So we do have a healthy mix here in Hamilton Township, and the plan and the suggestions and the wish list that my opponent has put forward, we have been doing that here in Hamilton Township. Our
Okay, next question, and we'll start with Mayor Yeade. What is your strategy to attract larger Fortune 500 companies to Hamilton Township, and how can we make sure that helps small businesses as well?
Great. Well, first let me recognize the Shop Hamilton group that's here today. Shop Hamilton, local by local. And what you have to do as the mayor, you have to make sure that the message is out there that businesses are welcome in Hamilton, and that we're ready to do business with the largest, such as Genesis, such as Salvona, that moved their headquarters here to Hamilton Township, and also making sure we address their needs. As Ms. Inman said, we have the best infrastructure, and what we do, we have a 5-year plan to maintain that. That way, these large companies, what they're looking for, Do you maintain the infrastructure to get on and off the highway so they can locate their major corporations? Do you have the appropriate amount of housing here in Hamilton Township? And which we do. So as a mayor, what you have to do is make sure your doors are always open. It's been tried and tested, and many of you here have come to my door. I've removed the door, and it's just not a token. They have come. Our residents know, our businesses know, they can get a meeting not only with myself, but the top tier of our executives. And they also know that the tax rate is stable here in Hamilton Township. Great infrastructure, stable environment, and the recreation environment that we provide here in Hamilton Township. All roads lead to Hamilton Township. All roads lead to the mayor's door. All roads lead to the executive team that will meet with businesses. That's how you attract large businesses that impact small businesses, because they work hand in hand. They're the backbone of our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I think that the first issue is that my economic developer will not have political ties. It's not a political job. It warrants a qualified individual with an advanced degree in economics, finance, international affairs, and international development. We need a vision for Hamilton. We have a lot of little things popping up here and there, which are wonderful. We need that. We need retail, but we need a better vision. I have a vision and a plan that involves developing the transit village as it should have been initially developed to complement the homes that the mayor discussed that are condos. I also have a vision of developing our arts district, which was largely abandoned by this administration, with the exception of a Walmart coming in. And I'm sorry, I do not think that crayons constitute an arts district that are sold at Walmart. We need an arts district that attracts architects, designers, galleries, studios, antiques markets, a piazza, and maybe even a design center. Our location can bring those people here. They can bring those salaries to this area. And that's the vision that we have, a long-term plan for sustainability, 2 anchors at our train station that will continuously attract high-wage jobs, living wages, and provide union work.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the next question, we start with Amy Inman. And along the lines of your strategies for bringing businesses into Hamilton Township, what are your plans to make it easier for businesses to do business in Hamilton and for the process of establishing a business in Hamilton easier?
Well, as you know, my business, unfortunately, is in Bordentown City. I wanted to come to Hamilton, but many of the shopping centers that were available to me are vacant and still have ridiculously high prices. I could not open my business in Hamilton. I had to go elsewhere. I think that's a very unfortunate thing. I think what we need to look at is to work with county and state government to gain access to low interest loans for local businesses who want to expand. We also need to implement NJPA's program, which will lower energy costs and stimulate job creation. I think the best thing you could do is to make Hamilton more attractive. I think it's great that the mayor has meetings to meet with local business owners, but I don't think you should have to pay $15 to get into one, to have to meet with her to talk about how you can bring your business to Hamilton. That's not business friendly to me. I'm available all the time. I have been out in the community. I have been hosting open public forums. I have been listening to the people of Hamilton Township and what they want and what they need.
Future plan in attracting businesses, ladies and gentlemen, is to make sure that you make businesses easier to work with. You make sure your government is easier to work with. And how do you do that? You become progressive. We have launched a new online permitting system. We've added inspectors because we are seeing businesses booming here in Hamilton Township. And we meet with businesses up front. Our executive team will call them in and say, what are your needs? We answer all of their questions because it helps them with the permit process. Are you going through zoning? Are you going through planning? What are their needs? What are the assessments? We answer all those. Why? Because time is money to businesses. And if someone wants to open their doors in Hamilton, we have to help them open their doors and help them open their doors quickly and remove some of the hurdles. And what does that mean? By not coming in and answering questions 5 months later. We do that up front. And also the networking with the mayor events historically never happened. We do that. I do that twice a year, and it is fantastic. Some of the best ideas come out from the business community, and I see our Shop Hamilton residents here that do attend. And also, when you do, we keep crime rate low, stable tax rates, okay, and making sure our businesses are open, economic development opportunities. That's what attracts businesses to Hamilton. That's how you continually work with businesses, and that's how you make Hamilton move forward.
Okay, next in line with development, we have a question that asks about your plans to create transit centers, and specifically in the case of Hamilton, the Sloan Road train station center development. What are your plans for the development of transit centers?
The true concept of a transit village, just so everybody knows, transit village, mixed use. You have housing, you have some restaurants, you have some retail establishments that residents that can travel to and around a transit village would have opportunities to have. Currently, what we have, because a sweetheart deal was given by the Democrats to a developer for 637 homes. What that one sweetheart deal has done, it deterred future developers that want to come in and around that train station. Why? Because they want mixed use. And we have 637 homes on one side there that can't even be sold. So what does that say to future developers? What does that tell you? When their vision, their dream, and what they can do to make money in and around the train station, they can't develop. It's amazing how much that switch, as soon as they hear that, it goes off. And that sweetheart deal has impacted that whole area. Thankfully, we're hearing that Congolia may have some exciting plans over there. We haven't received it. We've had numerous meetings telling them the vision of what we want there. And it is amazing, ladies and gentlemen, how that one sweetheart deal has deterred so much in and around, which could be a real transit village. However, again, the sweetheart deal given by the Democrats diminished that.
I see homes being built across from Dragonfly Farms. I see homes being built across from Ivan's Glass. I hear there are homes being built where the old Italian-American sports place was. There are homes being built everywhere in Hamilton. And the point of the condos that were built at the Transit Village was that people could live there and commute. And they would have a wonderful place to go across the street where the parking lot is to eat and shop and possibly work, because there were supposed to be more offices dedicated to that space. And that is exactly what we need, and that is exactly where it needs to be, so that those two areas can complement each other. People can live there and people can work there. That's the point. We're 10 years behind on the Transit Village because of the short-sightedness of the Republican Party. Bordentown City is getting a transit village. Ewing is getting a transit village. Princeton Junction is getting a transit village. Right now, the lack of a transit village represents Hamilton's unfulfilled potential. Jack Rafferty envisioned the train station, and against all odds, he was able to bring it here. And I say we move forward and complement the train station that was originally envisioned with a transit village where it is supposed to be, which is on the same side of the road as the train station.
Okay, next, Amy. There are a number of properties throughout Hamilton Township which are in need of redevelopment, some on vacant properties, some properties where there are no longer any businesses. Just a few examples are Independence Plaza, Route 33, and along White Horse Road. So what plans would you have to redevelop those sites?
Well, unfortunately, I don't think that those sites are going to be filled anytime soon. I think that it's realistic that until you have anchors in this town, you are not going to attract people to fill those spaces, especially at the prices that they're trying to lease them out at. I would call every single owner every single day. My husband's in the room. You can ask him how annoying I am when I am trying to get something done. I would not give up. I would try to negotiate with the owners of those properties and get those vacancies filled. But my first plan is to focus on the Transit Village and the Performing Arts Center in our Arts District. Those two areas have been abandoned. And once we establish an anchor in those two areas, there will be no end to the amount of businesses that want to come to Hamilton.
Well, Mr. Panetti asked about how we're going to develop vacant and abandoned buildings here in commercial buildings in Hamilton Township. And for those of you that read the newspaper would know that Independence Plaza has been bought and they have exciting plans. And I believe they are, correct me if I'm wrong, they have 75,000 square feet already leased. And you know, that's something that if you're running for mayor, you should already know that. As far as the car sites, we have 10% is taken up by Wawa. There's exciting plans from the developer coming in and around that site. Very exciting. Restaurants, it's only 10% for that Wawa. Suburban Plaza, the Bromley section of Hamilton, where my grandfather chose to run his insurance company. He didn't choose to open a business out of town. He opened it in the Bromley section. The Bromley section of Hamilton is missing a shopping center. And what they've done, Walmart has come in and they're opening a super Walmart there. And what you do, your plan for revitalizing them is meeting with the brokers, meeting with the developers, letting them know that we are open for business and that we will work with them, not against them, not put hurdles in their way, help them open their doors, and then do our job to keep their doors open.
Keeping in line with redevelopment and development plans, Mayor, we'll start with you. What are your plans for the continuing development of the Arts District?
Good question. What we do, we have an overlay, okay, in and around. For those of you that know, we have an arts and entertainment district. And what we've done, we have the world-renowned grounds for sculpture. And we continually meet with those individuals, those developers that are interested in developing in and around the train station. And because of the arts and cultural district overlay that we have provided in and around the grounds for sculpture, we had Prince Tell come in and they opened their doors, and this is a warehouse manufacturing organization. And what we have done by making the grounds for sculpture, working with them, highlighting them, all you have to do is go on our website and you'll see how we've created not only a tourism hub, but a transportation hub of how we would like to grab part of the $2 billion revenues that come in and around the area. What we have done is make sure that the Arts and Culture District is available. We created the overlay. Okay, we make sure that we have the infrastructure available for those coming off the train station and the roadways coming in and out of 95, 4 major tributaries highlighting the area, and we will continue to do that.
I didn't hear anything about any businesses in the Arts District that are related to the arts at all in that statement. I'm aware of Independence. I'm aware of everything the mayor has discussed. I've heard of these plans in other election years, and I've seen nothing come to fruition. I haven't seen any go-karts. I haven't seen anything developed at Independence. I heard about a Target that was supposed to come to Route 130. Now we have a Fortune 500 company coming to Route 130. I have not seen anything. Are there permits that are submitted for these places that are supposed to be here and supposed to build? Again, I heard no answer about what is actually coming to the Arts District. There's nothing coming to the Arts District. It's been abandoned. We now have a tab on a website that directs you to the grounds for sculpture. That's not good enough for me. I want something better out of my community. I want a performing arts center in the Arts District. I want to see architects, designers. I want to see a design center. I want to see the artists. I want to see a piazza. I want to see galleries. Those are the things that should be in the Arts District.
Okay, moving off of economic development just a little bit, but certainly a question that we got from the audience, which is very important to businesses throughout Hamilton Township and throughout our area overall, is crime. Now, we've heard a little bit about that earlier in this discussion, but there's a question that specifically says, overall crime in Hamilton is down, but violent crime continues to be a problem and seemingly on the rise. What would you do to help deal with this situation and to ensure that businesses aren't negatively impacted? Ms. Inman.
As a small business owner who was looking to open a business in Hamilton, I knew that I couldn't for safety reasons, because I couldn't be the only business in a vacant shopping center. Violent crime is an interesting thing. We just heard the statistic that Hamilton ranked number 91 out of 545 municipalities in New Jersey. We have 14 less police officers than we did 12 years ago. And the mayor keeps talking about how crime is the lowest it's been since 1977. However, she seems to be a walking contradiction, because she has a 24/7 security detail that covers her when crime is at the lowest. How many women are being stalked in Hamilton right now? How many rape victims do we have in Hamilton right now? How many restraining orders were filed in Hamilton right now? Do any of those women have 24/7 security at a cost of $500,000 to the taxpayers? If the mayor does indeed need security detail, we should look to an outside source to provide that, not our already overburdened police force. And what I would do is get rid of the press secretary position, because I can speak for myself, and I would use that over $100,000 salary to at least hire 2 more patrol officers. We have about 5 patrol officers at nighttime who have to patrol 40 square miles of township road.
It's curious, because we have since 1977 the lowest crime rate in Hamilton Township. This year alone, we're even lower. What's missing from the Democrats' platform is a thank you. Please join me in saying thank you to the officers.
I thank the officers who are so overburdened and who are working with so little.
So,
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So, thank you to our police officers. What does that mean, ladies and gentlemen? It means that our friends, families, neighbors, loved ones, they are being less and less victims of crime. They are out there doing their job, and that impacts the business community. So you may think of that as statistics. I don't think of it that way, neither do the officers in the room. Behind those stats, there are real people with real lives, with real stories to tell. So we take that seriously, and it's amazing because businesses look first and foremost. Mrs. Inman did not open her doors in Hamilton because she didn't feel safe. It's just she didn't want to. My grandfather opened a business in the So with that, how are we going to continue to keep crime rate low? Yesterday, we launched Instagram as another tool in the crime fighting efforts. It's amazing how many people will launch a photo on Instagram, not realizing that through tattoos, markings, the police know who they are, what they're doing. They'll knock on the door and they arrest them. Keeping crime and as low as it is. And another lie that we've heard today is that I have detail 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And how dare the Democrats send someone to a council meeting and said that I should step down because someone else that doesn't need a detail. I can tell you one thing, I ran for mayor not to be the first female, but to be the best. And to be blamed as the victim, the Democrats in Hamilton should be ashamed of this.
I just want to make a quick comment. That question, this last question, came from some member of a gallery class that asked a question about crime. So thank you for your question. But particularly interesting was there's a little note on the back of the card. It says, "We love you." So I don't know if that was intended for the candidates or for me. I'm hoping that it was true. Okay, last question before we allow our candidates to sum up. And this one, we go to the mayor first. And this question is related to the fact that if you are successful in the November election, what would be your first priority on January 1st, 2016? Mayor?
The first priority at day one, when you're mayor and you have a couple of years in, you look to the past, you see what we can do better, what we need to implement to keep the trend of economic development, positive economic development, keeping crime rate low, making sure that we address the needs of the residents. But I can tell you, day one, if I'm elected as mayor with my team, I will go to Governor Christie and I will ask for the $5 million that's due to the property taxpayers of Hamilton Township. We kept tax rates flat for this year. Okay, and it doesn't matter if it's an election year or not election year. Tax rates, your tax bill is paid by the residents, whether there's an election or not. First day, I will continue my efforts in bringing back the hard-earned tax dollars that the residents of Hamilton Township have paid to the state that they've said, we're not giving back to the property taxpayer. Day one, reinstituting my call to have the energy receipts returned back to the property taxpayers whose money it actually belongs to.
Thank you.
When I'm elected mayor, I'm going to schedule my first town hall meeting at one of our elementary schools. I'm going to reinstate the Women's Advisory Commission that the mayor dismantled during Women's History Month. I'm going to reinstate the Youth Advisory Commission. I'm going to talk to them about opening a youth center because when I've spoken to them, that's what they want. I'm going to also set up a meeting with the Board of Ed because we have a joint responsibility to our schools as a community to make our playgrounds safe. And I'm also going to hire the same inspector that inspected the school playgrounds to inspect our municipal playgrounds. And then I'm going to hire 2 new police officers, and that's all on day one. Plus I'm going to call Virginia Baker from New Jersey Transit, who the Republicans ran out of town, who will not call us back.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so now we've come to the portion of our program where we are going to allow each candidate 3 minutes to sum up and talk about their campaign and their candidacy and why they should be the mayor of Hamilton Township. So we started with the mayor earlier with the introduction. So Amy, we're going to start with you for the nomination. 3 minutes.
On November 3rd, Hamilton has a choice to make about who will lead this town into the future. My opponent has not shown leadership as the mayor, in spite of walking around calling herself the CEO of Hamilton. Hamilton is a community, not a company. She is proud to say that she's the first female mayor of Hamilton, and yet she dismantled the Women's Advisory Commission during Women's History Month And while women make up 52% of Hamilton's population, she's hired no women to her board of directors. In 2013, she pledged to the public that she would not sugarcoat the realities that we face or push off the problems of today. Yet that's exactly what she's done. This mayor went around calling Hamilton the Big H for months, oblivious to its street reference term for heroin. She consistently downplayed the importance of instituting programs to fight the heroin epidemic and only addressed the situation when forced to by residents themselves. With most of Hamilton's school playgrounds still closed for over a month after school began, the mayor makes grand and insincere gestures of offering aid while ignoring the well-documented facts that show that her administration created the problem in the first place. With a major issue like fire district consolidation happening all around her, she puts her head down and is silent because of the entangled special interest that her family holds in keeping the antiquated district exactly as it is. She trumpets the fact that she has held the line on taxes, but she's done this at the cost of increasing Hamilton's debt to $93 million. Would any business owner in the audience dare to claim that that's not pushing off the problems of today? She and two of her council members received contributions that clearly violated common sense ethical guidelines. How is an ordinary business owner or an entrepreneur looking to start a business in Hamilton expected to trust her when her record clearly indicates that those making bigger contributions get favorable treatment and that existing businesses are only tolerated to the extent that they don't impede on the ambitions of those big contributors? She is insensitive and out of touch with this community. She abolished free permits for senior citizens, veterans, and the disabled. She took a raise and increased taxes her first year in office. She gave all of her directors raises and still has not settled a contract with our municipal workers. This mayor is clearly for the status quo and not for the common people. Now that I've reminded you of the failures of the current administration, let me tell you what I will do differently. In recent weeks, I've outlined my economic plan, which includes the Transit Village, a performing arts center, and developing the marina. My plan to reduce the negative impact of heroin by implementing Project SAVE. My plan to fix the playgrounds quickly through community activism to fix surface issues, and long-term through the large-scale corporate donations. All of these plans are without cost to the taxpayers. I also plan to restore open communication with the citizens of Hamilton through regular public forums, and in doing so, to restore their faith in the office of mayor. My opponent does not inspire Hamilton. Rather, she is overseeing its slow decline, a decline that is evidenced by the following symptoms: 15 closed playgrounds, the dismantling of women's and youth advisory commissions, 800 vacant homes, the most Narcan deployments in all of Mercer County, vacant shopping centers, and finally, by our ranking 91st out of 545 communities with the most violent crime. I will lead Hamilton to a better future, not just by devoting my energies to these problems, but by inspiring and engaging others to do the same. I have won the support of Democrats, Republicans, and Independents who see the ideas, the energy, and the passion I will bring to the office of mayor. I ask for your support, and I ask for your vote on November 3rd.
Well, I would like to thank everyone for being here. I would like to thank Bob and the entire Mid-Jersey Chamber of Commerce for being here, and Ms. Inman for being here, and all the business leaders here. Thank you. Thank you for opening your doors here in Hamilton Township. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a big choice, as you can see here today, and the choices are obvious. The differences are clear. I chose to run for office because I believe that leadership is a calling. Leadership is not just deciding that you want to run for office. And I know I look at Senator Umberso, when you want to be a leader, you hone your skills. And you develop those skills over several years, trials, tribulations. My experience serving on the Board of Education, being a volunteer, being a coach, serving 6 years on council, knowing that budget in and out, knowing the needs of the residents, being available to the residents, okay, and serving in the highest office in Hamilton Township. Yes, I am the CEO. Yes, I am the mayor. And what it takes to lead a town like this, it's not pot shots. It's not gimmicks of sham debates. It's not of taking pot shots at my family, who dedicated so much of their time and their efforts in making Hamilton safer, in helping Hamilton build to what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, it's about leadership, and I believe in this room tonight, the leadership is absolutely clear. Leadership that leads to the lowest crime rate since 1977, and this year alone being even lower than that. How do you do that? As public safety director, you listen to your bureau chiefs. You once a month, you meet with those bureau commanders and your chief. You look at ComStat. You look at how we're going to deploy those resources, and you deploy them accordingly. You give those what they need to get the job done. Economic development, vacant areas, vacant commercial properties. We're realizing activity that have been vacant for well over 10 years. Independence Plaza, 75,000 square feet are already being renovated. Also, Congolium just opened their bids. We're waiting. We can't announce what's going on in 130, but I can tell you once it comes out, ladies and gentlemen, not only will you be impressed, but it will help your day-to-day lives. We've had so many businesses open their doors in the last year alone. And why is that? It takes leadership to achieve that. And as I said before, if Hamilton does not lead, Mercer County will be a scary place, because all roads lead to Hamilton Township. And I can tell you, in those 3 health crises that we managed, we impacted not only Hamilton, but all the other areas. You know, some may want to tear down this great town, but I was born, raised, and educated in Hamilton Township. My family has given a lot to this great town, and we've stepped up and we've stepped forward in the Mercer County community. And not only leadership in the good times, but also going against my party. Why? Because Hamiltonians deserve it, Hamiltonians expect it, and Mercer County residents look to Hamilton for their needs. And we will continue to be a leader. And how is that done? By putting Team Yeade back in place and letting us achieve our vision to make sure that Hamilton remains a town where you can live, work, and play. On November 3rd, as we illustrated in this campaign, I announced in March that I was running for office, and my team stepped up and stepped beside me and also stepped behind me. And my message hasn't changed. I came in under difficult circumstances, my team, and in 2013 was a difficult election. No one thought a Republican would win, but how did Team Yeade win? It won because my record of achievement, my dedication to Hamilton Township, and also my vision of how Hamilton Township will want to go. I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, my first responsibility was to change the tone and the tenor of Hamilton Township. I travel across the country, and I can tell you, they do not talk about Hamilton Township like they did years ago. Hamilton Township is back on the map in a positive manner. It's going in the right direction. Team Yeade took us there, and Team Yeade will take us even farther in the future. I ask the residents of Hamilton Township for 4 more years as their mayor. Vote Team Yeade November 3rd.
Thank you.